Hi there, it's Colin from Heal Green Heritage again. Today I'm going to take you through the library and show you what's in there at the moment. It's building up all the time, so there'll be lots more to see in the future. Perhaps for what I've actually got hold of so far, I'm probably only showing you about half of what I've collected. It just takes a while to clean up the documents and put them together. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you're starting from, let me just move that little window down here. Starting from Facebook again, you might be on a laptop, you might be on a tablet or your phone. I'm afraid it looks slightly different on each one, but you should have these functions, whether you have to single click or double click. I can't really help with. On my laptop, it's mostly double clicks, but it just varies from device to device, I'm afraid. So you've got to know a little bit about the device you're using to move around. Anyway, let's assume you're in Facebook. You press on About. Come here and have a look at this line that says library, and then you get that little finger pointing up like this. That means you've got a link that you can click on. So you click on that and off we go to the library. Okay. So in the last video, I showed you about how to navigate back and forth using that welcome page here. I'll do another video about this timeline link here at another time. So what we're going to look at today are these different folders, just to show you the content in them and how you know where you are in them and what you're doing. So this first one is about biographies. We haven't built up too many of these yet. The main one in here, if you double click on this document, is a set of from Linkline, which is St Catherine's Church, courtesy of Les Clough. Thank you, Les, who's kindly put that together for us, which is a list, just scroll down here, of a collection of people's memories, a couple of pages right up typically about where they grew up, which isn't always Heal Green, but the memories of Heal Green as well in there, and that is a fascinating read. And if you're struggling to read it, I don't know whether you are on the screen, but you can zoom in or out. Don't click on your web browser back page. That tends to take you back out of the library quite easily. The one you want to click on is the arrow just below that. That takes you back where you were, just the document into the directory you were stood in the folder you were stood in. Another way to move around, you can move between the directories here. So in this case, we're going back to the top level of the library so we can look at in the other folders. The next one to look in is books. So we've got 3 books. Anne Rushton's Memories from the 1930s and 40s. This one's Joan Heineke's Heal Green in Wartime. And the last one is Long Lane, Cheadle Remembered by the Williamses. So I'll just click on Joan Heineke's, for example, just to show you another book. So again, that's all there. You can have a read at your leisure. And all of these resources, everyone's been so generous with allowing us to share them with you. They're all free resources, and you can download all of those. I'll show you the 1 or 2 things that you can't download, I'm afraid, but you'll see those in a minute. Next folder is, these are the contact magazines. So the ratepayers started the contact magazine. The very first one was in October 1962. I've scanned and cleaned up and published on here up to 1971. These last few are lovely, deliciously clean copies, but the early ones were produced on something called the Roneo machine, which means the print's quite faint and it's difficult to get a really good copy, but I've tried my best for you. So these are lovely to read now, these later ones. And of course, the latest ones will be electronic, so that's not going to be difficult to store. But we do go back, I'm afraid, to sort of hand printed and typed up ones that won't be quite as easy to read. But anyway, they're a fascinating resource because they're full of details about all the societies that used to run from the village hall or from the churches, adverts for all the local shops. Really lovely reads. I suggest you have a look at those if you haven't done. In the general folder, this is mostly maps and aerial shots. Probably my favorite aerial shot I'll go into, and I'll use this one to illustrate something else now. So if you go, and most of the content in here isn't the books or documents that you've just seen. Mostly it's just a set of photos. And the majority of those are going to be black and white as well. But they tend to be in good res. I've tried to find the very best versions of each photo and just keep that one. But if you don't know what you're looking at here, you can go to the top right of the screen here where you see these 3 dots, sort of means more, and you get another little menu up. Now, On your phone, you'll definitely have to do this. You have to press open in new window. I don't have to do this on for some reason on the laptop. And then you do it again, more again, and you'll get this details box. On my phone, I don't get that details option until I've done that open in a new window click first. So a bit of a pain, but when you finally click on that details, you get extra information that I've keyed in. It's like, imagine it was a postcard and I'd written on the back of the postcard, saying, my mum and my auntie at Blackpool in 1960 or something. This is the content about what the photo's about. So I've written something on the back of the photo, so to speak, in this description. So this one's saying it's an aerial photo. Tried to put the years in when I know them, 1959 in this case. And then there's some copyright information. Who owns the copyright? Now, in this case, all the other documents we've looked at so far, things from the ratepayers or from Joan Heineke, and there are lots of other archives on here. Frank Mitchell, Graham Gill, they've all very kindly allowed us to share those archives, or the people that now own them have allowed us to share the archives with you, and you can reproduce all the material like off the website if that's what you want to do. This photo, though, you can't, because this one's owned by English Heritage. Potentially it's still put in books, or they charge money for downloading the photo. So we can display it for you because we're just a history society. We're not trying to make any profit out of this. If somebody wanted to reproduce this photo, they're a little bit uneasy about copyright. So you'll see down here, there's this bit about download permissions, and it says viewer cannot download. Now, as it happens, I can download. I can't actually show you what it's like to be yourself viewing it, because I own the site. I can potentially manipulate everything, but you won't get this little symbol up here which says download, and you won't get this one that says you can print it if you can't print it. So if you can print, you're fine to print. If you can't, I'm afraid you can't, without going back to the copyright holder and getting hold of your own copy of the photo or something. But the vast majority of things we've got on the website are free of charge and available for everyone to enjoy. So I'm going to have to close that one down. And when you do that open in a new window, it opens a new window and you have to click on the X. Now it's come back where we were. And again, if you want to go back up a level, you don't click on the one in the web browser, you click on this little arrow below it. Right, so we're back where we were. That was the general file, showing you how to go into a file or a document, same mechanism, you don't really see any difference. The other folders here, these are some places around Heel Green that I'm afraid aren't anymore. Bradshaw Hall Farm, Old Hall Farm, the RAF maintenance units. I won't dig into those, but you can see where they are. There's a picture there of Skyways. It was Moss Nook restaurant for those that remember it. We've got items that are near Heel Green but aren't quite Heel Green, like the airport, for example, or a few other places. Chamber Hall just across the road from us on Stile Road, and so on. So a few places, but they are close by and of interest. So for instance, Heel Green Theatre Club, you could argue isn't I don't know whether it counts as Heel Green or not just there, but it's on the land for Gatton Golf Club. It's sort of nearby but not quite with us, or the Wagon and Horses. So we've got some bits and pieces, all places that are relevant to us around the area that have had a big impact on us, but not actually technically in Heel Green. There's a few other leaflets and articles. So at the moment there's some Rose Queen things in here, but I'm moving them out gradually under St Catherine's. And then there's just a few other posters or articles that we've got about the train station or Cheadle Royal that are under there at the moment. It's just sort of odds and ends and posters and things in there. So you might notice then, the clever amongst you will have noticed I skipped over one directory. It's the biggest one of them all. Most of the files are under this in Heel Green. And that either, if it's an important sort of public building or a public place like the War Memorial or something, or a park, they've got a separate directory. It doesn't, if it's not going to fall under one of those, like, so let's just for a moment look at the pubs. So don't know whether we've got the Beech Tree anymore. I think that's closed, but the Griffin and the Heel Green Hotel, or Beefeater as it's known now. So, for example, as subdirectories in there, most of the folders that you want to look in will probably be under here. If you're looking for your own road, these are all the ones that we've currently got some photos of in the area. I think I published some the other day about East Avenue. So let's just look at that again, just as an example. So here's a photo of people stood whilst they're building East Avenue. So I haven't published all these photos on Facebook. You'll find there's more going in all the time. As I say, there are thousands of photos in the archives that I haven't been able to get to and classify yet. Every time I do them, I have to, you know, check the copyright circumstances, mark them up, say where they are, put them in the right folder and all that. So it takes a long time to scan them in and get them done nicely. But I'm working my way through them. These are the ones I've got. So I've got as many photos to come again. So do keep checking back in these directions to get some more photos. Also, I've been going around. There's probably nicer ways to take a photo, but I've been trying to mirror the ones that have been taken in the past. So that photo, for example, here is a mirror of the one above where they were building East Avenue in 1956. And that one's the equivalent today. Anyway, that's looking around now in those directories. So that's most of the content on the library. I hope that was helpful. Do put something in the comments if there's something else you'd like to know about, but I'm going to work through a series of videos and show you around the museum and how to navigate about everywhere. Okay, thanks for now. Thanks for dropping by.